If you grew up thinking that being gay was wrong, I did too. And here's how I unlearned it. Internalized homophobia is when all the negative shit you've ever heard about being gay conditions you to think that way too, even if you are gay. About 2 years ago, I was dating this girl for a while and we went to a water park. It was so fun. We were just riding a bunch of the water rides, and at one point we were holding hands when a couple kids walked past. I remember I dropped her hand because I felt like it was inappropriate. And it made me realize, if I was holding hands with a man at that water park, would I have felt like I was doing something inappropriate? No, because I was with her. And that's when I started learning about internalized homophobia and what I could do to heal from that conditioning. Internalized homophobia is extremely sneaky. It can show up as shame, judgment, discomfort, distance, even in little ways. We have to be able to notice it when it's happening. How are you going to notice it if you don't even know what it is? Examples are feeling weird about seeing 2 men or 2 women kiss in public. Even with my current girlfriend, I remember the first time we traveled together, we were in the airport and she was kissing me and I was like, oh my god, everyone's staring at us. There was almost a little bit of shame that I still had just for existing around other people. Another example I face a lot, and it's when people say, oh, it's just a phase. When someone comes out, specifically when I got my girlfriend, a lot of people, including my ex, were like, oh, it's just a phase. I don't care what you say, it's just homophobic. Even in my past relationships with men, when I would talk about my feelings towards women, they would say things like, oh, that's so hot, I would love to see that. Would they feel that way if I was talking about other men? No. They were never threatened by other women because they just assumed that I could never actually fall for another woman. Joke's on them. Another one I noticed in myself was that I wasn't open to dating bi men, even though I labeled myself as bi at the time. It wasn't a preference, it was just internalized homophobia. And if you're not queer yourself, sometimes it looks like just feeling uncomfortable or awkward or silent around queer people when they're literally just existing. And it's not about blaming yourself. Most of the time, it's not your fault at all. It's about noticing these reactions and asking, where did I learn that? And is it actually true? Even though it's not your fault that you have these internalized beliefs, you're the one who has to fix it because you're the only one who can. For me, I needed to witness queerness. I grew up in the middle of Missouri. It was something I never saw growing up. Even if you don't understand it, just listen. It's interesting to me that so many of us were taught that being gay is wrong, especially because the queer community threatens what? The patriarchy. Because we exist outside of the patriarchy's design. Patriarchy relies on these rigid roles: man, woman, dominant, submissive. Queer existence alone breaks that structure completely. That kind of freedom was never meant to survive in a patriarchal system. It's almost like the purpose of hating queerness is to uphold the patriarchal system that we were all born into. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important to deconstruct the narrative that it's wrong. Queer joy is activism, and it's one of the greatest acts of rebellion towards the patriarchy. Follow for more.